Hi, this is Denise Matthew. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to mention that I'm on a bit of a mini vacation for the latter part of August, so I'm making the videos a little bit shorter when it comes to the full moon and also the new moon that we'll be talking about for the rest of August. I'm also going back to an old format I used a couple of months ago, and since it is Venus and almost Mercury retrograde, I thought it would be okay to do something that is old and bring it back in for a little while at least. When we get to September, I'll be back to the regular format of a longer video, but for the remainder of August, I'm going to use this format, and I hope you enjoy it. With that said, let's get into the new moon. The message for this new moon is that everyone comes into life with just the right skills that you need for this incarnation. But if you don't believe in your worth, then no one else will. This is about you believing that you are worthy, that you are good enough. This new moon's asking you to look inside of yourself and to listen to your own inner voice instead of the voices and opinions of others that may not be in your best interest. With the gate 47 in play, there's an opportunity for you to gain awareness about your next step and who you can trust because you know that they have your best interest at heart. If you listen to your internal guidance, it will lead you to your highest good. And that's a place where you can receive the rewards that you deserve because you put in the hard work. And that for sure is a win-win proposition. On August 16th, we have a new moon happening at 23 degrees Leo. Overall, the themes seem to be quite elusive in the beginning when I was looking at the body graph and trying to interpret or get a vibe on what we could expect. And what I came away with was this idea of know your worth, because this seems to be the message that we're getting with this new moon. Not only that, it really brings in the theme of sometimes thinking that maybe you're not as good as somebody else, or that somebody else is better at the job or better for a job than you are. Of course, we have people who are experts in their field and they can do something really fast because they have the expertise. They have that ability to get in there, get it done, and move on. This is not what this energy is talking about. This is talking about you as an individual being able to do something, but almost having this feeling of maybe I can't do it well enough, or maybe there's somebody who can do it much better than me, and not understanding that you're probably the best person for the job. So instead of standing behind somebody and supporting them, this is saying stand out front, show people what you can do, and value what you bring to the table as much as you value what others bring to the table as well. Now, if we build on that theme of you understanding that you can do it just as well as somebody else, whatever that is, because this is saying it's something that you are adept at, but maybe you don't see your ability to do it as well. With the sun and moon in the gate 4.5, this is bringing out the idea of also ensuring that you're not giving away too much of your ideas or your answers, because the gate 4 is about answers. This is encouraging you to let those know who need to know about the things that you're doing. But if you put your trust in certain people, they may end up actually taking your ideas, which is something that nobody wants to have done, because if you're working on something for a long period of time and suddenly it's stolen from you, or alternatively, we go back to the same theme, you give it to somebody because you don't think that you're good enough to bring it forward into creation, then that's where you're going to lose something that's really important that might have an opportunity to gain traction in the future. But it's something that you've brought into being, or you have this creative idea, or you have something that you're thinking about that you want to take forward. So instead of giving too much away, this is quietly working away on what you're doing and trying to make it a success. And of course, when you need people, pulling in those trusted individuals to help you get forward with what you're trying to bring into creation. Now, the earth in the gate 49 line 5 is where we're grounding, and this is tribal energy. This is adding to that same theme of this creation or something that you're envisioning that you want to bring into the future. This energy is talking about having to sacrifice something that you want to bring into creation because you feel as though you need to conform. And if you don't conform, it will not be successful. Or people are telling you, if you don't conform, it won't be as successful as you imagine it to be, which may or may not be true. And truly, this is asking you, what sacrifice or what are you willing to give up to get something to go forward faster, or this idea that if you let go of this, it'll be easier. What this says is there is no easy path. The path will take as long as it needs to take. And if you sacrifice something so that it will be sped up, or you want to go faster or somehow easier, it may not work out the way you want it to. A good example of this energy is if you're trying to get a book published. And if you look at the whole publishing industry, you see that a lot of superstar authors are sort of given the red carpet, but they have the test of time behind them, and they are supported in every way possible. But as a new writer or somebody trying to break into the field, it's not always so easy. And so you come in with this expectation that you've written this book, you're going to get a tremendous amount of support. Other people know more than you do. They're asking you to take out a lot of stuff that maybe you like in the book, but you're going to take it out because they told you should. And eventually it's all done and it gets out there. You're not feeling satisfied with what it all looks like. You've made the sacrifices. But what happens is you've made the sacrifices, but they haven't paid off. They haven't come to fruition. And you sort of think about, why did I do that? Because it wasn't my truth. And I let go of my truth so that it seemed that it would be easier, but it ended up not being as easy as expected. So this is asking you, is it better for you to be slow and steady and going towards the goal that you set for yourself? Or do you want it sped up and yet you leave things along the way that matter to you? And that's the question that this energy is asking you. Because ultimately, you have a lot more value to bring when you're bringing it in its entirety, as opposed to pulling out components that matter to you in this feeling that it will get easier, it will get more successful, or something better will happen. But ultimately, when you let go of your truth, you're letting go of your authenticity. And then it becomes a question of, really, was it worth it to let go of that to get something that wasn't even worth the effort? So the underlying theme is to stand in your truth, and how that plays out for you is going to be different from everybody else. But you'll know the theme because it will sort of be in your psyche and you can see it happening in your real world. If we circle back to the gate 4, line 5, this is coming with the idea of right timing, knowing that the timing is right, and maybe saying, okay, well, maybe the timing isn't right. Maybe I need to hold back, and letting sort of this inadequacy or this feeling of anxiety to stop you from advancing forward. But what this says is that the clarity will come. You will know when the timing is right. You'll be able to feel it. And stepping into whatever that is at that time will serve you well. And if you do allow the clarity to come to know when the timing is right, you will be rewarded for your hard work. And the key word, you, as opposed to somebody else, will be rewarded for your hard work. If we add in Venus in the gate 7, line 6, bringing even more emphasis on this theme of the gate 7 because it's retrograding there, it really does talk about the power behind the throne, which adds to this idea of somebody else taking credit for your work, even if they've played no part in it. So the new moon can bring both sides, one where you're giving everything away because you don't have the confidence to feel like you can step into your truth and get it out there in a way where it's going to be effective. And the alternative way is getting paid potentially for your work, but not having the recognition. So in other words, you're a ghostwriter and you're getting paid, but your name isn't on the book that you've written. So this is where you're either giving too much information away, or someone is racing to the finish line with your creation. And yes, you may get some rewards from it, but they may feel empty because you've worked on this. This is part of your whole being. Your soul has been in this creation, whatever it is for you, and other people are taking credit, whether you give it away willingly or they take it from you by you giving too much information and trusting people. So in other words, this is really being discerning about who you put your trust in, who you tell your creative ideas to, and who you allow to have the secrets that matter the most to you. And with the Earth in the gate 49, line 5, the person that you might be trusting may be somebody in your circle. We could look at the perspective of a frenemy, somebody who says they have your back, but maybe they don't necessarily have your back. And this isn't about being worried about everybody going against you. This is more along the lines of trusting in your intuition, trusting in the gut feeling, trusting that you know who's correct for you and who isn't. Mercury in the gate 47 line 3 even brings more of this intensity of self-oppression potentially, and not feeling that you measure up, or maybe that things are not going to work out if you do it all yourself, or it's working too slowly and you wanted to speed up. All of the Ajna gates, of which we have the gate 47 and also the gate 4 that are in play for this new moon, are gates of clarity over time. In other words, it takes time to really have the understanding of where things are going or what the big picture is. And this is saying that finding the clarity will serve you very well, and allowing for that clarity to unfold the way it's meant to will give you the answers to the questions that you have that are important for your progress forward. Mars in the gate 6 line 1 is bringing another tribal theme, and this builds on this idea of trust and breaking barriers and understanding the correct people for you. But what it also says is that only when you're building a foundation or spending some time with somebody or looking at their patterns, seeing how they've acted or have they supported you, those types of things. When you're keeping an eye out for their behavior as opposed to the words they're saying, then that will give you a heads up on who is for you, who's got your back, and who doesn't necessarily have your best interest in mind. And keep in mind, if somebody tells you that you're not good at something, that's an immediate red flag, because is it true? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And if it is true, then you can always get better at it because you have the ability to shift it up and change it. But if somebody is telling you that you're not good at something, you got to wonder, is that motive something related to bettering you in the future? Is it constructive criticism, or is it something altogether different? Well, I hope you have a wonderful new moon. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you again soon.